I've been a fan of Noam Pikelny since the Leftover Salmon days. And when I heard he was coming out with Noam Pikelny plays Kenny Baker plays Bill Monroe, I thought, how can I pay tribute to this? And naturally, the saxophone came to mind. I actually don't really care for bluegrass music, but considering the current economic climate and the music industry, what with Mumford & Sons, and Steve Martin, and before that, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, I felt like the time was right to really capitalize off of this movement.
I don't know how you pronounce that last name. Pikelny or something.
At first, I planned to make this record in Nashville so that it would be more authentic. But then I remembered that there are a ton of bluegrass musicians in New York City who will work for practically nothing.
I heard about it on Craigslist.
It's funny because I was walking down the street, just down Houston Street, and somebody just came up to me and was like, "Hey, do you play fiddle? Is that a fiddle?" I was like, "Well, I play violin." And they're like, "Good enough," but and apparently this Noam guy made a really great album worth copying.
I thought you had to be dead for a tribute album.
This record is more than just a recreation of a classic. It's really the apex of a fusion that's been happening slowly over the last 50 years. And now we've reached the peak of just pure bluegrass, but on the saxophone. It seems like it's what everyone has been trying to do, but no one has actually been able to do it until now. I had heard Kenny Baker plays Bill Monroe once or twice, and I was especially a fan of the album art, and I've always found the fiddle to be very shrill and unpleasant to the ears. So I thought, why not take these tunes and play them on the saxophone, but also play them down an octave, and just make it more pleasant to listen to. So everybody knows that the saxophone was Bill Monroe's favorite instrument. That's an undisputed fact.
Saxophones weren't invented yet.
Right, but Bill Monroe actually had sketches. After he died, these were discovered.
Yeah, Adolph Sax
sketches
sent him.
And
they were corresponding.
But the sax didn't actually become a fixture in the bluegrass band until the Newgrass Revival happened.
Yeah.
The Great Newgrass Revival.
Right, that was
bands like Blue
the turn of the
Highway,
80s, 90s.
Lonesome River Band all had great saxophonists.
We're just making it up, really. We're just, it's all conjecture. We don't really know what Bill Monroe actually sounded like.
Well, no one knows what Beethoven sounded like.
Yeah, that's true.
But just because you don't know what he sounds like doesn't mean it's not real and can't be attributed.
Well, I think that's why it's so timeless, is because we don't know what Bill Monroe sounded like. We only think we know what he
And we
wanted.
don't know
Kind
what
of.
time it's from either. That's why it's timeless.
And the thing is, we only know what he looked like from the cover. Well, we're 4 degrees removed because Kenny Baker stood and looked like Bill Monroe on his album cover.
But wasn't
Noam Pikelny
he was borrowing
stood
that suit, right?
and stood and looked like Kenny Baker on his album cover.
Right.
And
Okay.
Chris Miller is standing and looking like Noam Pikelny on his album cover. So that's all we know about Bill Monroe.
I think if Bill were alive today, he would be very proud to hear these tunes realized in the way that he heard them in his head. Noam actually wanted to play saxophone when he was a boy, but his parents wouldn't let him. He was forced to make his first banjo out of things that he found in the woods. And as much as he tried, he couldn't manage to get the parts together to make a saxophone. And that's how the banjo player Noam Pikelny was born. I just felt like this was the record that had to be made to honor Noam and Kenny Baker, not so much. But Noam, I know if he could be here, he would have wanted this record.
For Noam.
To know.
To Noam.
Yeah.